Hi, this is Kane Hodder, Victor Crowley, Jason from Friday the 13th. You're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil, and I'm joined by the cast and the director of The Laughing Mask. We have Jeffrey Jenkins, The Laughing Mask.
Yep, that's me.
Sheyenne Rivers, Katherine O'Malley.
Hello.
Gabriel Lee, Detective Cordova.
Hey, hey.
And returning, Michael Aguiar, the director.
Hello.
Yeah. So last time I talked to Michael, you guys weren't sure like when the movie's coming out, but now it's going to be coming out June 24th. So I assume you're all happy about that.
Yeah, especially since June 24th was a few weeks ago, so we're feeling pretty good about that.
It is. Normally I record these and then play it in the future. This one I'm recording, I'm going to actually play it in the past.
There you go. I can dig that.
How do you do that?
Technology. We're moving up in the world. It's advancing.
He's got a TARDIS.
Oh, man.
I could edit that to make me sound smarter, but I think I'm going to leave it right as it is.
Yeah.
Well, you're not too far off because the DVD release is in July 25th.
Aha!
So you knew that, right?
I knew that, yeah. I have that down in my notes.
I didn't know that, but that's good news.
Yeah, so everyone can get a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nobody knows. I just this is the first time that I'm talking about it.
Excellent. Now,
Well, there you go.
Now, I love the trailer, and people should check that out. But if for the people who haven't seen the trailer yet, would you like to give everyone an idea what the movie's about, and each of you can tell a little bit about your character?
Go for it, Michael.
Well, The Laughing Mask follows Cheyenne's character, Detective O'Malley, in hunting the Laughing Mask, played by Jeff, after he killed JC. John couldn't be in, but John's wife and kidnapped his kid. And assisting her, or not, is Gabe's character, Lieutenant Cordova.
Well, each of you guys want to, Jeffrey, start with you. What drew you to the movie?
Well, the movie itself, I mean, working with Michael on past projects, is obviously where it started for us. And having that relationship together from the things made it a little bit easier to transition to this when he had spoke about it and talked about it, and him knowing what I do in my life. It was, I think, kind of a pretty simple thing for him to ask me. And I mean, I can't say this for everybody, but for me, it was a fantastic opportunity to have the opportunity to put a mask over my face, so I didn't have to worry about saying anything or screwing up lines or those.
Or makeup.
Yeah, those sort of things. So it was kind of it was a no-brainer for me to have the opportunity to be one of those, characters with, I guess you could potentially say iconic in its own way, because the Laughing Mask is a unique character. Mm-hmm. But it was just it was simple. I mean, with our past projects asking me to do this, it was like, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And we just basically took it and ran with it, and here we are still today.
Yeah. Before I get to the other ones, did you want to ask? You looked forward to wearing a mask, but after you wore the mask, did you still think it was a good idea? Or
what's funny is the original mask was pretty awful to wear, but I didn't realize that until we got the second edition of the mask. So I remember after filming, we had a time where we brought the original mask in, and when I put it on, I was just kind of like, Jesus, like how did I do this? Like, this is awful. But wearing the mask itself was kind of its own sort of, get into character thing. And there were many times where I would literally stay in the mask for hours at a time. And that kind of helped me just sort of sulk in my own sadness. And I just worked with that. But I loved wearing the mask, honestly. It was, to me, it was quite pleasurable. I enjoyed it.
Cool. Cheyenne, how did you get involved, and what attracted you to the script?
Well, interesting story. Not too conventional. I actually auditioned for a role for another movie in Orlando, and Michael was there. I believe he was a part of the production staff, and He was part of the production, and I auditioned with the Sharon Stone scene from Basic Instinct. And that interrogation scene, and I guess I did pretty good, made a little bit of an impression, and it didn't actually work out for either one of us as far as for that production went. We won't really go into that, but I think we can both get a chuckle from that one.
Right.
Right. I'm going to be nice and say and laugh about it. But it didn't work out for either one of us. But he had gotten a hold of me, I think it was about 7 months or so after that audition, and said, "Hey, I wrote a part based on you, and would you like to, watch the script or read the script?" And I said, "You know what, I'd love to." And I read it, and it was so dead on to who I was as a person, kind of like a tough chick character. And that's how pretty much that came about. And I just thought that the background on that was really cool. And I couldn't believe how well, after meeting me just once, he kind of grasped who I was and that I would play that kind of a role, I think, pretty good.
Yeah, and you don't see that too often in movies, the tough cop character who happens to be a woman.
Right. No, not a lot of tough chick characters, no. Yeah. Especially I get tossed around pretty bad. So, as he always said, the John McClane of the Laughing Mask.
Excellent. Gabriel.
Yeah, she's our female John McClane.
I like that.
Yeah, I just beat her up. I'm cool with it, man.
Gabriel.
I'd have to say it pretty much matched my character 100% as well. Because I am a Latin drug runner, prostitute, ring running. So it really did align with my daily life.
I'll have to talk to you after the show. You sound like someone else.
Yeah. Making ends meet.
That's why I cast you.
I knew it.
I actually had auditioned for the role of Jake, and when Michael called me to tell me I got the role of Cordova, I was like, "That's a Latin guy." And he's like, yeah. And so the first table read, he's like, "Yeah, just grow out your facial hair, and we don't have to have too much of an accent." And then, it's just from there. That's how I got involved with the project, and I actually worked with Michael on another film since then, and I'm a producer as well. So we've got another project that's in development right now that we haven't really said too much about yet, but we will soon here. But yeah, that's kind of how I got involved with Michael and the Laughing Mask.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to say what the next project is, or are you not allowed to say yet?
Yeah, sure. So we've got another film. It's a feature film. We're still in script development stage, talking with a couple distributors to kind of get an idea of what we can expect and just try to get some sales agents on board early. But that film is called Harbinger, and that story follows the faithless archangel Uriel as he's been roaming the earth for centuries since he lost his faith, and the Harbinger is the second coming of Christ, and he's kind of summoned by his brothers that to come back and kind of help protect the Harbinger, from the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And kind of the twist to our story is, Michael, should I say the twist of the story, or
go ahead?
Yeah, the twist to our story at Harbinger is the second coming of Christ is a female 17-year-old lesbian. So it's not a religious film, but a lot of the characters are based on characters from biblical stories. Mm-hmm. But it's an action adventure film. So it's a lot of twists and turns. Pretty exciting. The script is slightly controversial, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. You thought it was
slightly controversial.
Yeah,
I'm already getting mail for that.
I was just saying, you thought it was a stretch for Gabriel to play, Cordova, but playing a 17-year-old lesbian that's quite the acting chops.
I haven't convinced him yet, but if I shave, I do look a little younger. So we can.
so keep growing your hair and just shave your face.
Yeah, I'm keeping growing my hair.
Now, one thing I really love about the movie is the use of the old music and like the cartoons, and not only is it a nice contrast, I think, with the violence. If you pay attention, a lot of the lyrics and pertain to the scenes and kind of give you clues to what's going on. Now, did all the actors know that the music was going to be in the movie, or did you guys not know that until after you saw the finished film?
Well, some of it yes, and some of it no. I know what we had spoke about when we originally filmed the short that we created. So there was always going to be that dynamic for the mask, but how exactly it was going to be used and set in place was not completely known and understood. But as the movie went on and the editing continued, I think Michael found where everything kind of fell into place and made more and more sense, and a few tweaks here and there, and then that's what came to the final edit. So there was an idea of it, but it definitely continued to fall into place as things went on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the songs, we picked them for a reason. So most of the songs that you hear during the kills, I kind of already knew that where they were going to play out, because they kind of needed to go with the lyrics. But the cartoons, they were a later addition.
Mm-hmm. Did you have that in your head already, like going into this, and how were you familiar with those songs?
My wife is a music major, and that's kind of her specialty. So one of the Here Comes the Boogeyman, about 4 or 5 of the songs that we have in there, she's the one that brought up to me, and she basically said, "Look how creepy those sound." And when I listened to the lyrics, that's when we were in the writing process. I was like, yes, those are very creepy songs. I don't know how people haven't used those, especially because they're all royalty free right now, right? Mm-hmm. So I was wondering why people never got to use them. So yeah, we already knew that basically because of my wife's background, mm-hmm. and I'm also a big fan of 1930s type music, and because of Adrian. There was a recurring song. There was the theme for that movie, mm-hmm. and I kind of wanted to pay homage to that.
Nice. Cheyenne, what did you think when you saw the finished film and you saw you heard the music and you saw the cartoons?
Well, I remember Michael had told me, upon meeting with the script, he had mentioned something about the song "A Sin to Tell a Lie," and with the script, that dynamic just seems so cool to me, especially since I love old school music. I love music from that era. I'm into music as well. I'm a singer, and that's a lot of the style that I really love. And when I saw the final product, I wasn't sure how he was going to fit everything in, and if it would just be, one song that plays in the opening credits or in the out credits. But when I saw how he put it together in the cartoons, and I loved the whole vibe. I really thought, wow, it just came together so nicely, and that creepy record sound, that hi-fi sound when the record crackles, it really just set the mood. I think that really set the movie off in a huge way, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting you mentioned that, because a lot of movies, have kind of a grungy look to them,
mm-hmm.
and then but then the music actually has that feel to it too.
Yeah.
Gabriel, what did you think when you saw the finished film?
In regards to the music or overall?
Well, overall.
Yeah, overall, I was very proud of Michael for getting this done. I mean, we had a lot of challenges through the production, as a lot of indies do. But I was very proud of Michael and proud to be part of the project just because of, how great it all came together. Every indie has issues, but I think, it's something to really be proud of. And in regards to the music, I thought that was original. I thought it was really cool how I put that in there with the cartoons, and I thought that was original. This is an art, and that was his expression. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. Did the Laughing Mask play at festivals, and did you guys get to watch it with an audience?
I did not submit it to festivals, mm-hmm. because I got the deal for distribution before that. So we didn't. Most of the times you go through festivals to get distribution, and I got the distribution beforehand. so we really didn't need it. But we did a couple of showings where people watched and we joined in. I think I did that one with Jeff, where we did it via Skype and just to see the people's reaction. And we did the one in Lake Mary. We did a couple of them in St. Augustine at the Wolves Museum. We sold out there, but 3 showings that we showed there.
Nice.
So it was yes, we did get to see it with an audience, but no, I chose to forego the festival route with the Laughing Mask.
Yeah. From what I understand, that's an expensive thing, too, to submit your films at festivals.
Yeah, it's very expensive, and if you don't have a name attached to it, this came directly from one of the festivals that I was going to submit. It says if you don't have a name attached to it, they'll waste your $250 because we're not even going to look at it. Mm-hmm. So you see sometimes the movies that win those festivals, they have either a name attached or some sort of gimmick, and it's like 1,000 to 1 for you to actually get in. I kind of think that those festivals are they play against the indie crowd from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Now, who has the actual mask? Does Jeffrey? Does he have the mask, or does Michael have the mask?
Michael has the mask. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah, I wish I had one at home. I have one of the replicas that we created and that we started selling last Halloween. But I do not have one of the masks that were created for the film.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool that you guys
did go to
Halloween. Mm-hmm. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say I did go to AFM last year and took a bunch of those masks, and yeah, a lot of the sales agents wanted those masks. It was pretty funny.
That's very cool. Are you going to sell them again this year for Halloween?
Oh yeah, I still have quite a few of them. Nice. I've contacted a company from China that just manufactured them for me, so I have a ton of masks.
Very cool. I've been wondering what I was going to dress for Halloween. Maybe I have an idea now. Last year was the penguins.
Okay.
Man, we had such a huge amount of people send us pictures of them dressed as the Laughing Mask for Halloween. It was really cool to see.
Yeah. What was that like for Jeffrey to see people dressed, as your character?
It was honestly too cool. To be honest with you, even before that, the first time Michael made the little action figure that we used in one of the teaser trailers, even that was pretty exciting, getting to play with the character of myself. But knowing that people are taking what we've created and at their own appeal, creating that character and wearing it out and showing it off it couldn't be more exciting to know that other people want to be that. I remember recently speaking to one of my friend who goes to a lot of conventions, and he said that he saw people. There was a couple that was dressed as characters from the Laughing Mask, and it kind of blew my mind, and it's pretty incredible to think about that.
Mm-hmm. Now, Cheyenne, when you're acting with Jeffrey, and he has the mask on. Does that add to you getting into the role of being interacting with the Laughing Mask?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was the only actual scene that I was in with him was the scene where he actually kidnapped me and I woke up and I was upside down. That definitely added to that scene. Absolutely. It was definitely a scary scene, and I have really bad vertigo, and so to be upside down looking at this guy with a mask, it was pretty cool. Actually. Very cool.
I have to say,
and there were knives coming at her too.
What was that?
And there were knives and all kinds of pointy objects coming her way.
Yeah. Yes, I was like, "Are you sure you can see out of that? Good enough? Okay, we're good. All right."
Gabriel, do you have any thoughts on the mask itself?
I only had one scene with the mask, and it wasn't very long because, once you see the movie, you'll see what happens. The character, like the whole design of the character, I thought was put together really well.
Mm-hmm.
I love the look of the mask. I think the mask is and the interpretation that people give off that it's like, it looks like a baseball or, a sewn up version of this or that, or, but I guess to me, like, never looked at it as a baseball sewn up or anything. It was so unique when we first got it, and then the recreation of the mask, and it just to me it's a very intriguing, very interesting looking thing. And then, like Gabriel said, put together with the entire ensemble, it's got such an interesting look to it that is something that's super appealing. And some of the things that I read too, and having females being somehow attracted to the mask has been an interesting dynamic as well.
Yeah. Well, and the cool. Oh, sorry. I was just going to give props to Jeff, because the mask is very cool. The design, everything's awesome. But it wouldn't really be the mask without his characterization in it.
That's a good point.
He does such an incredible job. I mean, the mask just adds to it, but his body language and the way he goes about his movements, that's really the creepy thing. And then you just put on the fact that there's this creepy mask, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the guy dance? He can move.
Oh yeah. You should have a laughing mask like dance YouTube video. Come on, what's up?
We have footage of him dancing country music there at the barn dressed as the laughing mask.
Why are you holding out on us, man? Get that stuff up.
That needs to be special features right there.
That's exactly. Well, if you ever do a sequel, do you ever think we'll see the laughing mask versus Chewbacca Mom?
Oh man, talk about the Chewbacca Mom. I'll tell you, it damaged when we came out right now, because if you Google laughing mask,
I noticed that myself.
That stupid video comes out everywhere.
So
yes, I want to make a video with the laughing mask murdering Chewbacca Mom right now.
I think a lot of people would like to see that. Would you ever do a sequel?
Absolutely. I have an idea for it. Because of the 1930s theme comes from a deeper background story that I have written for the Laughing Mask. So it's I definitely have idea for it'd be more of a prequel, but I do have a great idea for it.
Just gonna say, yeah, it'd have to be a prequel, because you got to see more Cordova.
Exactly.
Hey, I offered to put Cordova on Harbinger, and you didn't want to do it.
No, it's bad enough to get typecasted, but to get typecasted as a specific character, it would be my third or fourth film as Cordova. I can't. No. No.
I like that idea, but what are some of the?
I was going to bring him back as a demon. He did not want to do it.
No. No.
What are some of the special features on the DVD?
Well, the DVD itself, there's not a ton of special features, because I'm saving some of the things for a potential Blu-ray release.
Mm-hmm.
But I did include, I think there's a director's commentary in there, and the original short is in there. Because we had to take the short down due to legal reasons, but it was okay for me to release it on the DVD.
Why was that they had to take it down? Because of the release of the movie?
No, because of the Casey Anthony legal team thought that there was too much of a... It was too close to the story for their comfort, so they petitioned YouTube to take it down.
Huh. That's kind of strange.
And that was after like a good 300,000 plus views, so...
Yeah, we're rounding up at 500,000 almost, and then it got taken down.
It was astonishing. It really, like, as every day looking at it and be like, holy shit, more 50,000, and it just kept growing and growing, and it was like every day I could only look at YouTube to see how many people were viewing and commenting on it, and that was pretty exciting.
Yeah. Michael says there's a director commentary. I think there should be a cast commentary too.
I think we tried to set that up, didn't we? It was just a schedule different. I mean, like it was a scheduling thing. So
I didn't get the call.
Not to throw Michael under the bus or anything.
Yeah.
No, that's still Leomark said they wanted, but they want to save some of the features for a potential Blu-ray release, which I was pushing for, because DVDs. We shot the movie in 4K, so to release it in DVD is not the quality that we were looking for. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of market in there for DVD still.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jeffrey had mentioned the action figure, the doll that Michael made of the Laughing Mask and the Family's Killing. I think last time when I talked to Michael, he had made those like previously. Like, how long had you had those?
I made it for the short. I made it for that particular scene. It took me about a week and a half to make that. So I made it with that specific purpose in mind.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just thought you made him just to play with, but.
Well, I had to have an excuse to make it, right?
That's very true. That's very true. Well,
Michael's got quite an extensive collection of action figures as it is, so adding an additional one, especially as unique as the Laughing Mask, was he probably would have made one had he not even used it in the video.
That's true.
Besides just Laughing Mask, were all of you horror movie fans?
Oh, absolutely. How can you not be?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Excellent.
I like all movies, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how did each of you get involved in acting? We'll start with Gabriel.
I actually started when I was like 6, so I've been acting for I'll say 20 years. I'm older than 26. But I've been acting for a long time. I started when I was 6, all the way through grade school and high school, through community theater, that type of stuff. And then in my early 20s, I kind of stopped. I was pursuing a different career, and then in my early 30s, got back into it, and I'm getting really close to 40 right now. So I train twice a week. Been involved quite a few films. Producing a couple films right now. I just moved to Atlanta for more opportunity. So yeah, it's my passion and my full time. It's my full time gig. So.
Mm-hmm. Are there any particular movies or TV or anything that made you want to become an actor?
When I was a kid, Harrison Ford. I loved everything he did.
Oh, me
really
too.
Yeah, and Kevin Costner. I could name off just a ton of actors from that from that decade, really, through the 80s, 90s that were just I just thought they were so cool, and that's and that's not why I got into acting. I like to pretend, I'm a big kid, so I get out on the floor and play Legos and cars with my son still to this day, and I'm just a big kid, and that's what acting is. It's playing, we're pretending we're walking in the shoes of someone else, and it's that's what I love about it.
Mm-hmm. Cheyenne, how did you? What made you want to become an actor?
Well, my family, my mother and my father were actually always into the acting thing. My mom was in Miami Vice. She had some, little roles and stuff. And growing up, she did a lot of theatrical productions, and she was a seamstress, choreographer. So I kind of grew up in the arts and music. And my mom was an agent down in South Beach, and so she kind of got me started with, just learning to audition and stuff like that. But growing up, the same as Gabe, I was always into, community theater stuff, in school performances. Theatrical was what I mostly started with, and then, started working with my mom. She got me some commercials, infomercials, stuff like that. And then I really got into singing more than, say, the acting, and I started performing and, started doing music videos. And then that's kind of where I started, really delving into characters and stuff for music videos, and, being one with the songs that you write. That's what happens. You get very attached to those characters, which are pretty much yourself. And then, from there, I got opportunities to be on set, and it was always a horror movie. It always seemed to be either a sci-fi or a horror flick. So growing up, I loved horror. I think Freddy was the scariest movie, that Friday the 13th, but Freddy always freaked me out. So I always got a high from horror movies. I loved being scared. I don't know what it was. I just loved it. So it just kind of ended up being that niche for me. I did 3 or 4, indie budget films, and it was a lot of fun. So that's that's pretty much, my history.
Yeah, very cool. Jeffrey, what made you want to become an actor?
It was by sheer accident that I sort of fell into any sort of acting or performing, because I certainly never grew up wanting to do anything in front of people because it terrifies me, and it still kind of does. But I'd always wanted to work in a haunted house growing up, simply because I felt that I would be less scared if I was a part of it as opposed to walking through it. Mm-hmm. So eventually, when I moved down here into Florida, I auditioned for Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. And that was my first experience getting to put on a costume and a makeup and be a character and be something different. And it became, for me, almost a therapeutic experience, because it allowed me to be something that I never dreamed, I could be, lacking confidence or whatever it may be. And I sort of grew with that. And it's continued on to, today I've been performing and acting at Universal for about 7 years. And I remember just after my first year of Universal, though, was when my friend got a role with a project that Michael had started when he was still in school, actually. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh man, that'd be cool. I want to do that too. And he emailed them asking if they had any roles, and they did. And I emailed him back, and I was like, I can play a gay guy. That's no problem. And so that's how Michael and I met when Terrence became a thing, and it's just kind of snowballed from there. And I've sort of developed into a different person. And so acting fell into my lap more than I did, chase it down.
Yeah, that's an interesting story, because actually in high school, in my yearbook, I was voted most quiet. So I can kind of understand what you're talking about there. Michael,
I was voted silliest.
Michael, how did you? What made you want to become a director?
I'm sorry. Angel Heart, man. It just all goes back to Angel Heart and Excalibur. When I saw those stories and how they affected people, how they affected us when we were watching, I basically knew that that's what I wanted to do. It's the storytelling aspect of it that really drives me, and that's what I always thought was really interesting. No matter how you do it, if it's through books or comic books or through movies, the storytelling aspect and how it affects people, that's what always drew me. But when I saw Angel Heart and you got to the end of that movie, and you remember that movie, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you get to the end and you get that reveal and that feeling, you're never going to forget. So I wanted to kind of bring that to people.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was just asked about the book that you wrote with your daughter.
Yes, I read This Little Monster. Yes, yeah. She wants to do another one now. She wanted me to turn that into a movie. I'm like, I can't do that because it's going to turn into a horror movie, and the monster
Is she allowed to watch The Laughing Mask yet?
She's seen it because she's been on set through most of it,
right.
And she was there the entire time I was editing it. So when I told her she couldn't watch it, she kind of said, I kind of know the entire thing already.
She got you.
I can tell you scenes of the movie. So yeah, I let them watch it, but I don't normally now.
Yeah. I was watching horror movies since I was like 5, so I have a little different family, but yeah.
We're easing them up into it. She watched Krampus the other day. She thought that was not scary at all.
Oh, that was a cool flick. I like that.
I really like the Jack in the Box.
She likes Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I dug the Jack in the Box in Krampus myself.
The Jack in the Box is really well done. I'm waiting for that idea to die down so I can use it somewhere else.
It was really good. I remember the first time I saw it, I couldn't help but grin ear to ear because it was like, no way. I had no idea that was what it was going to turn out to be. It was pretty exciting. So
yeah.
Even the lead up to that scene with the chainsaw and my contacts were red for a week. So don't ask me why I didn't change them, but that whole scene itself was pretty fun to film. And then seeing the final product, especially coming with that Jack in the Box, it was just really well executed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really enjoyed The Laughing Mask, and hope everyone gets a chance to check it out. And what's the reaction been like? for friends and family members of you guys who have seen The Laughing Mask? We'll start with Sheyenne.
Mine have been.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
That's all right. I always forget that we have 4 people here, so it's and if I just say something, it leaves up to everybody.
Go, Gabe. You got it.
All right, Gabe. We'll start.
Okay. Mine have been really supportive. You know, a lot of them. As soon as it released, we released first on Amazon, and so there's a lot of people that. Or no, it was on iTunes first. And so everyone's like, when's it going to be on iTunes, Amazon, or when's it? They were asking for everything out. The other platforms. So they've been really supportive in checking that out and been getting a lot of really good feedback. And yeah, it's been nice. A lot of people just wanting to know where they can see it and when they can see it, and a lot of people asking about when they can buy DVDs now. So it's been pretty cool.
Excellent. Jeffrey.
Well, it's been pretty great, especially, like I said, working at Universal. I'm around a lot of people who are, constantly filming, whether it be movies or TV shows and stuff like that. And I've been talking about this project for a few years now. So it's exciting to finally be able to tell everybody, like, hey, go watch it. And hearing, the positive things back from my friends and, them knowing the effort that's put in to a project such as this, helps that as well, because, knowing what goes into it and seeing what comes out of it, some people may not see that and other people's understand it. So for me, it's been a very positive thing, and having the support of both my family and all of my friends at work, especially. So it's been great.
Awesome. Sheyenne.
Yeah, it had been quite a while since I had put out a movie or been in a movie for quite a while, and so I kind of was doing more of the music, focusing on that. So I think when a lot of my fans were like, "Oh, you're going to be doing another movie," and so I think also what helped was a lot of people might have thought that it was a negative, but it helped with a lot of like pump up for the actual release of it, because everybody's like, when can I get it? When can I see it? And it took a little while to get out there. But I think that actually was only a benefit to the project, because everyone was like so excited to see it. And then when they finally saw it, I got a lot of great reactions. People went out right away. They're like, awesome. I downloaded it. I'm watching it. It was cool. They're sending me pictures on Facebook like, hey, I'm watching it, and they're taking clips of the screenshots. And it was really great. A lot of support, from fans and stuff.
Yeah. Legally downloaded, not like on a torrent site.
Oh, no, legally. They paid for it. Yes, of course.
I will say, though, it is fun seeing, like, on the web, like, the obviously, fake bullshit torrent versions, but seeing that there's even somebody that's willing to take our movie and create a false ad, and, like, well, I mean, it's better than no advertisement. It's something.
Oh, so. Yeah. Any press is good press.
Yeah.
And Michael, what's the reaction been like for you?
Yeah, reaction's been very positive. Leomark was pretty happy about it. They've been pretty happy with the results that we're getting. I'm getting a lot of feedback from fans, emails and Facebook messages, and it's been, let's say, about 85% positive, because you can't make everybody happy, so you always get the people that hated it. It's always going to happen. Yeah. But it's been overwhelmingly positive, and I was pretty excited about that, because when you do a movie at our level, at our budget level, you don't really expect for everybody to just kind of like it as much. But even the people that hate it, they still like the character of the Laughing Mask. So I think that we did a very good job at bridging the gap. So even the people that hated everything said, well, at least the Laughing Mask is cool. So there was one redeeming quality to the movie. But if you go to Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, the reviews have been from the fans have been overwhelmingly positive. So pretty excited about that, and I think we got some pretty good websites out there reviewing us too. Very cool. So I've been pretty excited about it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people online who just kind of live to hate everything. So.
Of course.
Yeah, we've noticed that. I mean, when you get a review that goes everything is garbage or something like that, you know that there's not a lot of substance to that at all.
There's always haters.
Yeah. And I'd probably bet money that if you look at their other reviews, that they're very similar to every movie. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did do that on one in particular, and he does say that about every other movie. So it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah, I got your own number, bro.
I think if I just hated every film, I'd probably, just stop watching films. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I'm from Brazil, so the next step, the movie will be released in Brazil. That we've been getting.
Nice.
I've been getting yelled at because there's a lot of people from Brazil wanting to watch it, but they couldn't do it because our iTunes release was, or our iTunes and our Google Play, Amazon, I think so too, but it was 60 countries.
Mm-hmm.
So not only we're doing really well here, but we're doing really well in the UK too. We were up at the trending page of Google Play for a while there in the UK, and the iTunes page too over there. So we're doing really well in the UK, but then the people from Brazil are like, when are we going to get to watch it? So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now, translating the entire movie.
Very cool. Well, I want to thank all of you for coming on today. It's been awesome to talk to everybody.
Thank you. I think we all appreciate it. It's been for me and everybody else. This has been a hell of a ride through this project, and it's a big testament to not only the cast and crew, but especially to Michael and his family, because starting with him, keeping it strong from the get-go. A lot of people didn't expect us to even be where we are now. So it took everybody being willing to, work with their schedules and come back when necessary. And it took Michael and his family to keep this project going and seeing it all the way through. Otherwise, it could have been just another good try, but we made it. So
excellent.
I agree, and thank you so much for having me on.
Anytime.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and thanks, Michael, again for making it happen. Keeping it together and rank cars.
Everyone have a round of applause for Michael. Yeah. All right.
Man. So yeah, thank you so much for having us on. This has been fun.
Excellent. Thanks. I had a good
Thanks
time.
a lot, Neil.
Yep. Anytime.
How you doing? This is Lance Hendrickson, and you're listening to Without You.